This is the eufy Omni C20, and it is the first robot that actually let me stop vacuuming multiple times a day, even with a husky who sheds like it is his full-time job. The real win here is how hands-off my routine has become. Floors stay presentable with almost no effort from me. I would put this firmly in the robot vacuum and mop combo category. It is for people who want daily maintenance without babysitting a gadget, especially if you have pets, mixed flooring, or furniture that collects dust underneath. If you are tired of chasing hair tumbleweeds and mopping sticky paw prints, this fits that life. The design matters in ways I notice every day. The robot is ultra slim, around 3.35 inches tall, so it glides under my couch, under the bed, and into spots I usually skip when I clean by hand. That low profile is not just a speck on paper. I can literally see less dust under the furniture after a week. The finish is a clean matte black that blends into the room instead of shouting for attention. The base station is larger than a regular charging dock, but it looks and behaves like a small appliance. It sits in the corner, and the clear water tanks make sense at a glance. I do not need to open a lid to know if I should top up the clean water or empty the dirty water. The built-in handle on the robot is one of those simple touches that I appreciate more than I thought I would. Picking it up to move to another room or clearing it from a tight spot is easy and feels sturdy. The controls are minimal and obvious, and the status lights on the station tell me what needs attention without me digging into a menu. Setup was uneventful in the best possible way. I followed the quick start steps and used the eufy Clean application on my phone. It needs a 2.4 GHz wireless network to connect. Once I put in my network details, it paired on the first try. The application feels straightforward. I can create a schedule, pick rooms, set no-go areas, and choose vacuum only, mop only, or both. Voice control works with Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, and Apple Siri, but I mostly use the application because it gives me more control. The first mapping run took a bit, but after a few cleanings, the map dialed in. It now remembers where the dining table legs are, where the area rugs start, and where the pet bowls live. That means fewer taps from me and cleaner edges and corners. Actual cleaning performance is what convinced me. Suction is strong enough that I do not find little trails of fur left behind on carpet or hard floors. I do not care about the exact wattage or airflow numbers as much as whether my husky hair disappears, and it does. On carpet, the robot automatically lifts the mop and boosts suction, then drops the mops back down on hard surfaces. That switch happens faster than I expected, and I do not end up with damp carpet edges. The twin mop pads spin and press down with real pressure, around 180 rotations per minute, and that is enough to erase fresh paw prints and daily kitchen drips. I still need to get down on my hands and knees for dried syrup or old sticky spills, but for new messes and daily film, it leaves floors looking clean and not streaky. The station is where the hands-off part really shines. After a run, the robot empties itself into a dust bag. For my apartment with a shedding dog, I remove that bag roughly once a week. It also washes the mop pads with clean water and then dries them with room temperature air. The dry cycle avoids that stale wet cloth smell I used to get with other systems. The dirty water goes into its own tank, and I just pour it into the sink when it is full. No brushes to rinse by hand after every session. Daily maintenance for me is topping up the clean water every few days and swapping a dust bag when it is full. That is it. There are parts of the user experience that feel smarter than I expected. The Pro-detangle comb built into the roller has been a quiet hero. My dog sheds clumps, and my partner and I both have long hair. Most robot vacuums wrap that hair around the brush and force me to cut it out. Here, the robot periodically flips the roller in reverse under that comb and spits out the big tangles. I still clean the brush manually now and then, but it is quick because the hair does not bind tight. I also like that I can set the robot to clean specific rooms at specific times. I run a quick pass after breakfast in the kitchen and living room, and a full home clean before bed. Waking up to clean floors is a small quality of life upgrade that I feel every day. Let me walk through a few real scenarios. When my husky comes inside after a rainy walk, he leaves muddy prints across the tile. If I send the robot within a few minutes, the mop pads scrub those out completely. If I forget and the mud dries for hours, I still need a manual scrub to get into the grooves. Under the bed is where dust used to build up the fastest. The low height of this robot means those dust layers never form the way they used to. In the kitchen, I spilled coffee and creamer one morning. I wiped the puddle quickly with a paper towel, then sent the robot. The mop run cleared the sticky residue on that pass, and it did not drag dirty water around afterward, because the station wash cycle keeps the pads from becoming gross. On carpets, it picked up kibble crumbs from my dog's snack area and lifted out hair that my upright vacuum often leaves when I do a fast pass. Navigation has been careful and consistent. It slows around furniture legs and does not slam into baseboards. It handles transitions from tile to rugs without stuttering or getting stuck. The only time it hesitates is on a very dark rug that blends into my dark floor in low light. Once in a while it pauses, rechecks, and then continues. It is a small hiccup rather than a persistent blockage. In terms of noise, the vacuuming sound is noticeable but not harsh. The loudest part is the auto-empty cycle at the base. I would not take a phone call right next to it during that moment. That is why I schedule most cleaning when I am not in a meeting. Battery life has been fine for my place. On standard power with the mop running on hard floors, it can clean my whole apartment in one go. If I max out suction because the dog had a heavy shed week, sometimes it returns to the base for a quick top-up and then resumes. The resume feature works perfectly in my experience. It remembers where it left off and continues without redoing half the home. If you have a very large house, expect it to work in segments across a longer window. One specific use case that keeps proving itself is the dinner rush. I cook, we eat, crumbs and drips land, the dog patrols for fallen treasures, and then the robot handles the aftermath. I send a vacuum and mop pass for the kitchen and dining area only. 10 minutes later, I am wiping the table while the floors go back to clean. Another one is weekend mornings. I run the robot under beds and sofa while I make coffee. By the time I sit down, those hidden spots are dust-free, and I did not move a single piece of furniture. There are a few things I would tweak. The base station is larger than a simple charging puck, so plan a corner with an outlet and a little breathing room. It looks like a compact appliance, and I am fine with it, but a studio apartment might feel tighter. The mop scrub power is great for maintenance, but it is not a magic eraser for baked-on kitchen disasters. I still do a periodic deep clean by hand in front of the stove. Connectivity has been rock solid on my 2.4 GHz network. Just remember that it does not join a 5 GHz only network. The application is basic in a good way, but I would love slightly finer control of water flow per room without digging through menus. None of these are deal breakers, just the kind of little realities that come with living with a product. What keeps me using this every day are the practical smarts that reduce friction. The automatic mop lift over rugs means I do not babysit or pull up carpets. The clear tanks mean I do not forget water maintenance. The self-emptying and self-washing mean I am not constantly dumping a tiny dust bin or rinsing mop pads in the sink. The Pro-detangle comb cuts my brush cleaning time to minutes per week, and the low height means I am not sweeping under furniture anymore. These are simple, real benefits that add up. If you want a robot that can maintain floors on a daily schedule with minimal input from you, the eufy Omni C20 is easy to recommend. It is especially good if you have pets or allergies, mixed floors, and furniture that traps dust underneath. If you expect it to replace a human scrub for dried or caked-on messes, or if your home has a lot of very dark rugs that confuse sensors, you might need to adjust expectations. But as a set and let it run daily cleaner that vacuums well, mops effectively for fresh messes, empties itself, and keeps its own pads clean, this fits beautifully into a normal routine. It lets me spend less time cleaning and more time living, and that is the point. I will share detailed information about the eufy Omni C20 in the comments section. Everyone, thank you for watching.